Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is David. In this video, we are going to be covering a way to 10x your experience on Notion. If you just started with Notion, this video should be a great walkthrough of how to build a database, and I'm going to be focusing on our project management system. So I'm going to show you how we manage 50 projects a month. It's about 20K of actual dollars in projects that we're managing through this system, and it is flawless. It keeps everything intact. Clients are extremely satisfied, and we know where everything is at all times. And now, before we begin, I just want to say, finally, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That like button does the YouTube algorithm well, but it does my soul even better. I love to hear from you guys. I'd love to know if you had any aha moments. And so with that, let's get into today's video. So we have been using Notion for our project management since June of 2020. It is now December 2020. So it's been just about 6 or 7 months. The beauty of the system we've built, we've iterated on it. The beauty of the system we've built is that everyone knows where everything is at all times. Notion is live. It's always getting updated. So if you're part of my team and you're on your account and I'm on the account, we see each other, which is really useful. If you make an update, I see the update immediately. Really useful, much better than a Word document that lives on your computer versus mine. Everyone knows exactly what's happening and when it's happening. Also, I made a video talking more about the highlights of this overall system. This video is very much the nitty-gritty. I'm gonna walk you through every single step and recreate our entire project management system for our clients. But if you're looking to just learn more of an overview, or you're interested in finding out more about Notion and how it works and kind of see a visual example, find the video either linked above or below, which is a direct companion to this video, which is just more of an overview, highlights the major features in Notion, things like that, surrounding a project management system in Notion. So I'm going to show you quickly how this works, and we're going to step into it. From there, I'm going to cover a few topics. First, we're going to create an inline database, and I'll explain that too. Understanding the blocks in Notion, we're going to walk through that a little bit. Then we're going to create templates. Then we're going to create properties. Then we're going to create the structure so you can see how it all looks and flows. And then from there, keep it easy to access. I'm just going to kind of show you how we make everything so easy to access within Notion, so you don't get lost in the app, because that just happens at times. And then finally, customizing the actual database. We're gonna walk through that, what that looks like, and as you go through the process. So let's begin. All right, so now I am showing you on the right-hand side, the actual database. So this is what we're gonna recreate right now, the structure, the properties, all of that. And then on this left-hand side, this is where I'm gonna start from scratch. I'm literally going to create everything. So the first thing we're going to do to create this database here in Notion for project management is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click the plus sign in private. I'm just going to do it here. You could drag things around and put them anywhere, but I'm just going to start in private, click the plus sign, and I'm just going to put main page. So, all right, so I'll just add a few lines, and then here I'm going to do / and then I'm going to hit database. You'll see here that there are different options. There's table, board. You could choose all of these later on. So, right, you see table, board, gallery, list, calendar, timeline. If I go here and I click here, you'll see I have a few set up, but you could always add a view. So you could add table, board, timeline, calendar, list, gallery, like any type of view that you want for your database. So it doesn't really matter initially. I am going to start with a list and then also start with an inline. If you do full page, basically, it's going to consume the whole page, so you can't have anything else on this page. You'd have to create a separate page to have separate sections like this that you see over here, like this section above, all this stuff. All of these are separate pages. This is a separate database completely. So I'm going to start with inline, and I'm going to start with a list. All right, so that is step one. So we're getting over here to this SEO open project. So I'm going to type in SEO open projects here. And you'll see as I hover over it, a lot of these features are coming up, and they kind of created these like 3 sample pages here, which we'll work with as we go. But you'll see SEO open projects are here. I'm gonna click over here, and then I'm gonna click this little open as page. So now I'm on the full page. I wanna add this little icon. So what I'll do is I'll click add icon here, and it adds a random icon, but then you could click on this. And I wanna show you this cool trick. So if you go to link, there's this website here that is called notion.vip/icons. And you'll see here that this page, not affiliated with Notions directly, gives you all these options for amazing icons. So they have a light mode and a dark mode. I've never really used the dark mode. I only use the light mode, mainly because how it looks when you're in Notion, you have light mode and dark mode, right? So you can set it like this or like that. Anyway, so if I go to plan, I believe it was here, this is the icon we have. So we just hit copy. Again, go back to Notion, links, just paste that link there and then hit submit, and you'll see that it will add it in there. And then up here, it's a little hidden. So if I go back to main page, that'll take me to the page we were just at, or I could hit command and the left bracket to go back to the previous page as the keyboard shortcut. All right, let me get rid of this. Cool. So you'll see here, first thing we've done is we've created the inline database. And so now you have a bit of a sense of the blocks that we've created. Now, step 2 is creating the templates and then the properties. Those are 2 pretty major steps, but we're gonna work on creating templates, which will live in here, new templates. And then the properties are actually, if I click on one of these, will be these items here. So you'll see here, it says created, and then there's tags, which just, there's nothing created there yet. It just gives you space for them. So we're gonna create both of those now. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna work on the templates. So what templates are, depends on your business, depends on what you have. But for the different types of projects, we have different types of templates. So if I go back here and click this drop-down arrow, you'll see these different packages here. So basically all of these are different templates for us to begin with, and there's always an empty page available at the bottom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna recreate this template. Now, this step, these 2 steps are probably the hardest. These are the 2 steps that dictate the system. But what I would say is keep it simple. I have all of this already built out, so it's gonna look really complex. Edit this template, open that up. But truly, what you need to worry about getting started is just getting something started, and then you could iterate from there. But here we go. So first thing is we have these different sections. So this page is broken up in 3 sections. First, we have this project details, we have a message, and then we have the actual 100 points checklist. So let me just select this. This is the part that's probably the most important for the project. So I'm just gonna copy that, and then I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna hit this drop down here, and then I'm gonna hit new template. This is really a beautiful process. So what you can do is you can customize everything for the template to start with. So I'm gonna type in business name. And then again, we'll create the properties in a moment here. And then this is the content for the page that will be part of the template. All right, so now you've seen that basically everything has been pasted in. You could put whatever you want here with this template. The checklist, you could create different blocks. So here are all the different blocks that Notion offers. You create additional pages in here, to-do lists, different headings, bullet points, numbered lists, toggle lists, which become really powerful. So header and then tab in, and then you can do option 1, option 2, option 3. And I'm just gonna actually select those and make those bullet points. Then you can have this deep toggle, and then you can literally duplicate this and then create it even further down the line. So then you can do this, create another toggle, header 2, and then do the same thing, option 1, option 2, option 3. So you can see here that literally just with the ability to have all these shortcuts, there are a lot of amazing shortcuts. Maybe I'll make a video of that one day, but it's really easy to create all these different sections. You can easily embed a Loom video. You can easily add Google Maps. You could easily add a website. You could also easily add a Miro board if you have one. It's really easy to mention people. So if I said David, you can see here, automatically it can tag me. So then anytime you create a new project, it could tag that person. But I would recommend actually for that specifically, you can do that here in the properties. But now you see that this is how we create a template. And then you can do this for all your different pages. So here we have this different template here. So I could click edit, and then you'll see the template show up, and you'll see all these different sections. Now, we didn't even talk about color. It's really easy to use a color. So if you just do / and then type red, you'll either get red there or a red background, and you could do red background, and then you can do blue for blue text, and then green for green background. like whatever you want. Everything is like just a shortcut away, either with the / command or the @sign. You could add in a date, which is really helpful, all of those things. Anyway, so these are all the options. It's really beautifully set up for you. But with that, you create templates, and you'll see anytime you're editing a template, it will tell you you're editing a template. So that way you know you're editing the main structure of something. Once you build a template and it's built out and it's ready, you'll see it here. Once it's ready, built out, done, then if you make a change to the template, it doesn't change previous documents. So if I open one of these right now and it's creating it, and this is like a new project, let's just say, well, when the new project loads in here, you'll see that if I come in here and change the template, it'll change the template for all future uses of the template, but not previous uses of the template. All right, so let me go back into this page. A few things, just small highlights I wanna make is, let me come here. When I make this page, these are like the cool little fun edits. I always use default for things like this. When I'm taking notes or journaling, I use the serif, but mainly for work stuff, we use just the default. I also make the page full width, so it takes up the whole width of the page, which is just much easier, much nicer to use. And then in here, what we'll do is, I didn't add the icon or the header, so we'll do that now. Edit this template. I'm gonna click edit. You'll see here, I can add icon and I can add a cover. So it just adds random stuff at first, but you could click on this. I uploaded these icons, and so I'll copy the image address, and then I'll go here and paste that, hit submit. For now, this is a custom icon. I basically created this on my computer as a graphic. I think it was like 150 by 150, and then just added the link like I showed you earlier. For now, I'm just gonna use a standard icon and add that there. And then for the cover, you could hit change cover here, and then you could go to Unsplash, and let me see if anything loads for this. I'll just add this, fine, $100 bill. It's a 100-point checklist, $100 bill. Okay, and then you could reposition if you want to drag it around and save. There you go. So that gets all set up. And now you have the page set up, you have everything set up as you want for the template. If I go back and then I click on this to start a new template, you'll see that it adds the icon, it adds the cover, it adds all the content, beautifully laid out. If I go down here, you could do the same thing. You can hit new and then click on this template, and then it'll create the template for you. Again, really beautifully done. Sometimes I think they've been updating their system. They used to include this information when you create a template. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, I don't know. But as you can see here, you would just have to add in the title for the project and go from there. So we're gonna call this project number 1. All right, and then I'm gonna click out of this. Now, right now, there's no sort feature here or anything, and there's a bunch of random stuff. So we'll clean that up later on. But now that we've created the template, I wanna create the properties, all right? So now we're gonna create the properties. The properties are when I go to, let's say, edit here, these are the properties here. So as I create these, I'm gonna show you the capability, but at the same time, just be mindful, again, if you're starting out, we only had like 5 properties initially. And now you see we have like 12 or 15. We add properties as we go. Properties work across the board, across the entire database. So for example, if I delete this property, it will literally delete it across every part of this database. So any changes you do here affect the entire database as you go along, not the actual cell information, but the name. So if I change this client name here to name of the client, it would be that for all past instances and future instances. Okay, so let's take a look now at the property. So I'm gonna come in here, edit this template, click edit. All right, so they've created 2 here. I am gonna delete these because I just wanna start from scratch. So I'm gonna delete this property and go from there. And I'm literally just gonna go in order of what you see here. So first and foremost, I'm gonna add the client name. Now, the cool part about this is you have the ability to create different formats, different types, right? So you have text, it could be a number, it could be a selection, it could be multi-select, date, person, you tag someone, files and media, you can add a file there, checkboxes, a URL, which is great, makes it really easy to click on, an email, a phone number, awesome. Then you have this advanced section. Now, I'm not going to touch on relational or rollup. We don't use that at all in this database. And this is actually where Notion gets really powerful, but a little bit confusing sometimes. Relation is to another database, and a rollup is pulling info from that other database that you're linked to. But for now, I'm just going to stay away from these three. Created time is whenever you create this page. Created by whoever creates it, right? Last edit, whatever time it was last adjusted, and then last edited by whoever made those edits. These are, what would you call it? These are automatic. So if I add last edited by, you'll see that I'll show up. This isn't something you edit, it's just something that lives there. So let me go back and change this to what I want. So for client name, I just need text. I don't tag my clients in the project as we're working on it. So right now it's just text. Next is project type. So let me add this here. For here, this is a multi-select. The reason it's a multi-select is sometimes clients are doing 2 parts of a project. So we can do, say, like a 100-point checklist plus a site audit, or a jumpstart plus a site audit, or something like that. And so that's why we have the multi-select, not just the select. But again, if you're starting out and you don't know if that's possible, well, you can just start with select, because with multi-select, you could select multiple, but with select, you could just select one. So you could start with just select and change it from there. I'm gonna just go here. And basically what you do here is you create the initial. Again, these are the hardest parts, right? Just creating the initial structure. But here I'll type in 100-point checklist, and you'll see it says create. And then I'll do another one, 50-point checklist, and then jumpstart. And so this is a little bit of you could say a hack, but if you have to create a lot of these, the best way to do it is to use the multi-select feature. This is like an advanced tutorial part. You use the multi-select feature, and then you could change it back to the select feature. The reason you can do that and it's easier is because as you add in a new property, so let's just say jumpstart sample, you see how it closes out? Then you have to click on it again and then do sample new, and then it closes again. But if you select multi-select, and then you come here, you could say new, whatever you want, and it'll create them as you go. And then again, the great part here is later on, if you need to reorganize this, you can drag that up. If you need to get rid of something, you can just click these 3 dots. You could change the color, or you could delete it. So it gives you full power, full automation. Probably actually automation isn't the right word, but it gives you full power and autonomy. That's the word I want to use as you create these. So you'll see here, we have everything we need. The colors are different. I'm not going to worry about that too much, but you could come in here and adjust the color. I'll just change this so there's just one that is green. There we go. All right. And for now, I'll just select 100-point checklist because this is the template. So it should automatically show that when the template's created. So the next property is client source. Here is just the select option. So client source. And then here we'll go to text and then click select. And here we have like 2 options, I think. 4 options. Okay, if they come from 99 Designs, our website, if they're a white label service, or if they're one of my referrals. All right, so we'll do the same thing. And as I just told you, I'm going to choose multi-select for a moment, and then I'm just going to create the 4 options. Okay, so the 4 options are created, and then I'll change it back to select. And because we don't know where they're going to come from anytime it's a new project, I'm going to leave that blank. Then here we have, this is a little bit more complex. So we have this jumpstart here, which is a date. It basically says, take the date from created and then add 7 to it, and basically put 7 days to it, and then put the date there. So this is fun, cool, interesting. I'm not going to get into the details of this. And honestly, we just added this like 3 weeks ago, and we've been using the system without it for 6 months. So let that be. Look up another video about formulas and all that. There are a lot of people out there who are experts on this, way beyond my knowledge capability. Here we have the internal due date, client due date. The separation here is about 3 days. We do this so that we could finish the work and then deliver the work on a separate day. So internal due date is just the date selected. So let me create that. So internal due date, and then we select date, which just makes it so powerful. You see, it just like shows up, and you could choose the date. You could set a reminder. It's really beautiful. Internal due date is there. Now let's do client due date, and then do date, and then we're good to go. Oops, click out of that. All right, so let's go to the next one, added to their website. So we need to be added to their website. This is just a checkbox to make sure we do get added. And so what we'll do here is I will click here, checkbox, you'll see the features there, and then add it to SS, basically that. and then project lead. This is the amazing part, right? Because this is where Notion is just so powerful. Add a person, and then from there, and I could actually just duplicate this if I want. Duplicate property. So copy of project lead. Well, this is assign to, perfect. And it's a person's category. Status here, this is the select option, which we've already created. So I'm gonna leave that for now. And then created, let's look at that one. So let me get rid of this property, delete property. There we go. I'm gonna add this property here, which is gonna be date created. So the time it was created. This just helps us know it's an internal metadata that's helpful. And what's actually really beautiful about this, so if I click on that, what's really cool about this is I could actually, this is a newer feature, you can always hide this. So basically what happens is it shows this little property here, one more property below. So then it's easier to focus in on what's here. But if you do need that additional metadata, you can have it hidden and it'll show the additional options below, which is pretty cool with the full functionality that Notion offers. From there, we have the section for notes, GA granted access. We already created something like that. Oh, let's do the URL. So for the URL, you'll see that we actually use text for the URL. Reason being is just to keep things simple, because sometimes a client doesn't have a URL. And so we need to put no URL or URL is still in process or something. So this allows us the ability to really just control that. If we did choose URL, it would have to show up as a website URL. So it like makes this a link, which this is not a link, you know, and I don't want to click on it. You see, if I hover over, it's like, it wants me to click on it. I'm like, no, I don't want to click on it. Oh, going back to the assign to just really quickly, you'll see it adds in all the people's names here, which is just so powerful, right? So if I select David, boom, that's good to go. Again, we're in the template. So if every project lead for the 100-point checklist is going to be me and I select it here, let me click out of this. If I start a new project, you'll see it already selects these few items. So it's so powerful because it's going to load all the data here, but it's also going to load whatever presets you have in the properties for the client, which is just so beautiful. And then go back here. This is why it takes a lot of work in the beginning, but once you get it set up, you're good to go. Oh, I don't want to click on this. It's gonna, oh, there we go. Okay, good. So that goes away. And then we're going to actually change this back to text like I recommended. It's kind of like a little workaround for us there. And then we'll add notes, which is text. So that's good to go. And we are good to go. So now we just created all the properties. These are the two biggest steps to create the template and then create the properties. Now let's create the structure of this page. Remember I was mentioning this earlier, there's all these tabs here. If we take a look at this section here, you see all these like beautiful colors and all of this is alive and well. Let me just create one project with a few of these options so we could see it and go from there. Okay, so I've added all these properties in, and this is going to be important so I can show you how we create this. So there's a few structural pieces that we want to create here, which is going to be, first and foremost, we're going to go to properties, and you'll see here it shows a bunch of great options. So the first thing is we're going to add in this item. Well, I'm going to show you kind of what this looks like, and then we'll get to the details of what we're added. So assign to, we're going to add that. So you'll see it adds a little icon there, which is beautiful. Client due date, we don't do internal due date, we do client due date, so we can see that. Or actually, I think we do it the opposite, but in this case, it doesn't matter. Client name doesn't need to show up, but it can. Client source, that can show up. Created, that could show up. And then we have the project lead, that's okay, we don't need that. Project type is helpful, just so we see that. And then actual status. Oh, I don't think I created status. So let me go back to the template and then create status. So status is, we use not a multi-select. It's always just one item, right? So we'll use that and then we'll create different statuses. Haven't started, finished. Cool. So now we have this set up. Status, I'm actually gonna drag this up here because I like status up higher, which again, you see it's so, the form is so well set up. And I'll just say this, however you organize the properties is across the board. So again, properties works across all previous and future pages within the database. Templates though, if you edit a template and you create a new template from it or a new page from the template, it will only adjust for future templates, not previous templates. That totally makes sense because once you create a template, you're gonna make all these changes to the page custom for that page. so it's not going to adjust the page in the future. All right. And if that was too complex, just let it be. Not a huge deal. Okay, so properties there, we will add status, and then I'm going to leave status at the back end there. Type of project, I'm going to drag actually to the top, and then we basically have everything. So you'll see here what is missing. So we have this, the date. Oh, I didn't add the status here, so let me add. Okay, so now you're seeing it's coming to life. And so even if I add a name here, David, you'll see that. Okay, so it's coming to life. The next thing I want to look at is sorting, which is just you click on this and you could do add sort, and you're doing it to a list view. So you could have multiple views set up. So I'm going to just do name, and I'm going to actually change this to one of the due dates, client due date, and then do ascending. So it's sometimes confusing. I always get confused by ascending or descending, but I'm going to keep it at ascending. And that basically is going to show me the next project that is due the soonest. All right. And so now that's set up. And now remember, so there's only one view here. You could add multiple views, and I'm just going to show you what that looks like. So main view. So projects due next, that's there. Calendar view. This just kind of gives us an overview of what's due when. So if I go into January, you'll see when next projects are due, which is pretty cool. Again, you then change the properties for each of these different views. So then I could add client name here, or I could add, have we been added to Google GA account? All of that stuff gets added in as you create this account. And then you can go to timeline view. This is a newer view. I don't really use it for what we're doing. You'll see the projects here, but it doesn't really make sense for us. So this is our main view. But basically, to create a new view is you just type in a name, new view, select what you want. So let me just hit calendar, hit create, and then basically you start from scratch again. So then you have to come in here, set up the properties, sort it how you want, and you could also filter it how you want. So for example, if I go to these videos here, we do have the filter on. So it just shows us posts that contain either podcast or the status is filmed with editor, with spacebar, or ready for publication. If it's been published, it's not going to show up here. If it's in the idea phase, it's not going to show up here, because you'll see here we have these different phases of statuses of the project. So if it's an idea or writing or ready to film, it's not going to show up here. But it does show up if it has been filmed, if it's with the editor, if it's with spacebar, if it's ready for publication. So then you could use filters as well, and then you could have multiple views as well. Again, I only use the list view. Like honestly, these are the two views that we use the most for these, but then you could customize the structure. The next thing I wanted to say, these are like the last 2 points, is keep it really easy to access. So we have this set up. You'll see everything is built around this main headquarters page. Like these shared files are just more things that need to be like personal, and these are private or just random things. But the main headquarters is literally where everything lives. This is where all our content lives. So it's very easy to access what's most important to the team. And that is an overview. Let me go back. So list view here, if you click here, I'm gonna just change this name. So if you click there, you'll see that. So now everything is set up. And so when we come in here and add a new project, we will just go through the steps, new project added, and then just start adding in all the details as we need to. And so as we go through that, it'll get organized and sorted as we need. New project added, just start it out right here. And then we can customize and further customize and further customize. So that is how you create an inline database for project management on Notion. Wow, okay, so I know that was a lot of content. So you just stuck to the end, amazing. You probably got a ton of value from that. Please let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. Again, please like, subscribe, or hit that notification bell. And if you have any questions about the system that was built, I wouldn't consider myself a Notion expert. You might say that, but I don't consider myself a Notion expert, so I might not be able to answer everything. But if there is something I could help with or point you in the right direction, please let me know, and I would love to help. And with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.